morning. It is Tuesday, June 3rd. This is the Automotive State of the Union. I'm Paul J. Daly and Kyle Mountseer right here next to me. Today we're talking about Steve Greenfield's biggest worry, Applegreen and Tesla. And Meta just wanted to do all the advertising for you. We'll make it. We'll charge you to place
it. Spend it. We'll spend it some more. We'll spend it again. And then we'll tell you that we're spending it. And hopefully you'll get a return. Okay.
And we'll tell you.
I don't have any feelings about the third story this morning.
I don't think so.
Zero feelings.
We never have feelings about the third story. Maybe we need a new show called The Third Story, where we just talk about the third story.
Oh, that's
Kyle and I
actually a great one. That's a great show.
See, this is the problem. Nathan's like, stop. Nathan back there. He's like, don't do it. Don't do it. Up, Kyle already registered the domain. I see it just popped up. Yeah.
That thirdstory.com.
That's how I know. That's how we know what each other's thinking. A domain just pops up.
Domain pops in our GoDaddy, and it's like,
GoDaddy.
Paul's got an idea.
I think I know where you're going.
It's so good.
Oh, hey, we have a new episode of ASOTU CON Sessions, the importance of goal setting with Greg Euland of Reynolds and Reynolds. Greg is always amazing to sit down and talk with. The fact that he's like a pretty savvy podcast host makes him an amazing podcast guest. And this is where he and Zach were just hanging out. Zach Kinch. Okay, ASOTU CON Sessions. They happen at ASOTU CON.
Yep.
And the video is fun to watch. Actually, if you're an audio person, check the video out. Just the set looks good.
Well,
kind
of relaxed looks good, and like you get in that ambiance because there's a little bit of that like background hum, so you feel like you're in a thing. You know, like the audio's tight, but you get a little of that. So you should check it out for sure.
It's good stuff. You can get that primarily on our YouTube channel, ASOTU.be. And when you click on that, if you've never been there, it'll take you to our YouTube channel. And you're going to click on videos, and then you're going to realize how much content we put out that you've never seen. And you're going to be like, I love that person. I like that person. So there you go. If you forget doom scrolling Netflix and Amazon Prime, connect with some amazing people and learn something while you're at it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We also released our side stage sessions on there from ASOTU CON. So now if you couldn't make it, you can make it now.
That's also a vibe to watch those for sure.
It is. You don't get the benefit of Taco Tuesday. You don't get that. That was part of the live event.
You don't get Taco Tuesday. You don't get to actually talk to the people when they get off the stage. You don't get the wonderful hall experience, but you can relive a little bit of the magic.
Yeah. And if you want that experience next year, just circle the week after Mother's Day in May. And that's when we're going to have ASOTU CON again.
Yep.
All right. Today we have a little taste of ASOTU CON for you. Instead of doing like a story, let's be honest, there's nothing but like the same old stories out there. But we are not limited to what is in the news, folks. We make our own news. And so we're today going to be sharing a 2-minute clip from Steve Greenfield at ASOTU CON talking about what his biggest worry is. This one surprised me when he said it. I think it surprised a lot of people. So we're going to play this clip and then we'll chop it up a little bit when it's over. Roll it out.
NADA, 1/3 of franchise dealers run associated collision repair shops. Inflation was up from the beginning of COVID by 20%. Vehicle collision repair was up 50%. We had a shortage of technicians, supply chain impacted it, availability, et cetera. There's something worse going on, and this maybe has me more worried than anything else right now in the presentation. This was in 2023. This Rivian gets this fender bender. The consumer gets the car back in 9 months, and it's a $42,000 repair bill. But even for legacy automakers, here's a Toyota Camry, right, which I think recently was the highest selling vehicle in America. We went from one model year change, from a 2017 to 2018. The number of parts in the bumper assembly, front bumper assembly, doubled. The cost of those parts doubled as well. So what happens if you look at the difference, one model year difference, you get into a front end impact, and the cost to repair that vehicle is 26% higher. What's happened as a result? Insurance costs, vehicle insurance costs, have really started to skyrocket. And this is a big concern for me because I don't hear from a lot of dealers that like consumers come in and they start with, hey, can I afford the insurance on this car? Usually they find the car they like. Dealers don't want to talk about insurance because they don't want to add friction to the conversation. Let them go home and figure out later if they can get the thing insured. My problem is this. I think that with this, the toothpaste is out of the tube. We've got this China threat, this Tesla threat. The OEMs have to drive costs out of the production of cars by building $3,800 single pieces of aluminum in these vehicles, and I worry about this. I worry about this, frankly. There are now insurers that are telling you, hey, it's time to renew your insurance. We don't cover homes in your area any longer. Is this going to play out for auto soon? Because insurance providers are going to say, like, for certain models, it's like, this doesn't make sense anymore. Either I have to increase your insurance by 300%, or I just stop carrying certain vehicles. And we do not, as an industry, want this dynamic to play out. But I think we're on the cusp of that potentially soon.
Yeah.
There's hardly much to say about this except for the fact that I just like these slightly adjacent but similar pieces of the way that new manufacturers, new manufacturing guidelines, new types of vehicles are coming into the market at a pace that the rest of the market, that the touch points outside of it haven't appropriated. Like even and he didn't mention it here, but things like financing, right? When you've got potentially a vehicle in an EV that can have system upgrades for a long time, a lot more resilient engine parts because they're not influenced by fluids or wear and tear, that could go a bit longer. Can financing change? Can leasing change? There's so many of these other adjacent pieces, and repair costs and insurance premiums are only one of them, but something definitely dealers should be paying attention to, because it always comes back to the dealer. It always just seems to come back to the dealer.
It really does. I leave it to Steve. Leave it to Steve. There's another great show. Leave it to Steve to like pull out the thing that is likely impacting the consumer or going to impact them more than you realize it. I think this is already happening as people purchase a vehicle and then call their insurance company and realize what it's going to cost to insure the new vehicle versus the old vehicle, especially some EVs, the cost of ownership. Now, I didn't notice a big difference in the F-150 Lightning that I have.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think part of it's because the F-150 is like a very known entity.
So much of the vehicle is manufactured similarly to another F-150.
Yeah. And so I don't know how that all plays out, but I think Steve said it right. We don't want to be in the situation that many homeowners are in, where the insurance company just says, you know what, I'm not going to just even give you the option to double or triple your rates, because that honestly reflects poorly on the insurance company.
Right.
From a brand standpoint, it's much easier to say and much safer to say, we just don't cover that. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, but we'll probably be referring back to this talk at some point, but maybe not. Maybe it'll all go well.
It's kind of like Tesla not taking their own cars on trade.
Stop. Speaking of Tesla, Tesla is pulling its chargers from the New Jersey Turnpike after the state awarded an exclusive deal to another provider. The decision led Elon Musk to cry foul, said there's corruption, but the change seems more about contracts and control than conspiracy. If you look at all the facts, Tesla had built 64 superchargers across 8 Turnpike stations, heavily traveled, right? Under a 2020 agreement, the New Jersey Turnpike Authority chose not to renew it, awarding exclusivity to Applegreen. If you've been in New York, I don't know if they have these outside New York. Applegreen is the company that runs these rest stops. They're really beautiful. I mean, there is an Applegreen that has a Shake Shack and a Chick-fil-A in it.
What?
I mean, come on now. Somebody knows how to do it, right? Tesla calls the move disappointing, but says it's already predicted. It's already been preparing in case this happened. And instead of the 64 superchargers that they have on the highway, they've actually already installed and have functional an additional 116 alternative stalls that are right off the turnpike. So you do have to get off an exit, hit the stall, get back on. Elon called it corruption. Applegreen, however, will now supply exclusively EV charging at all 21 turnpike service areas.
Look, I get it from both sides. From Tesla's side, it's like, hey, we already put all these in, and now you're going to swap the contract. From the Applegreen side, cost cutting and managing their verticals, right? Like managing the costs and trying to make the experience better. If you haven't, I kind of took a look at like, what does an Applegreen look like? Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, they're nice. They're beautiful. Yeah. Like I'm looking at them right now. There's not a ton of them. But they're nice looking.
Yep. They've been upgrading all of the rest stops across New York State Thruway over the last probably like 4 years. to these Applegreen. They've been literally demoing the old ones that had like a Roy Rogers in it. Remember those? You know, they demoed those, built these new ones. A few things now as an EV driver. Number one, as a non-Tesla owner, it really sucks charging my F-150 Lightning at a Tesla charger. You have to pull in forward. You feel like an idiot. The cord doesn't really reach the charging point, so you have to do all kinds of weird things to get your truck in. These Applegreen chargers are going to have both the NACS and the CCS chargers, so that means I won't need to use an adapter. Converter. They will have longer cables. They actually charge. I mean, this doesn't matter because my truck maxes out around 170 kilowatts, but these are 800-volt chargers versus the 350 chargers that Tesla has because they aren't the upgraded ones. So from a convenience and broad experience, here another thing is Tesla had not upgraded or retrofitted their terminals. Therefore, you can't pay with a credit card. And Applegreen was like, we want the credit card payment option. So you don't need the app. You can just go up, scan the credit card and go. So I think all around it's a much better experience.
It absolutely is. And this is going to happen at so many places because the net new technology is coming so fast and people are going to want the speed and ability to pay right on time. Like the app-based systems are going to start to die. And a place like this that understands consumer experience is going to lean in.
Yeah. And so, I think it's not a terrible move. I think it's a good move. And I guess maybe Tesla should have wrote an extension of the contract. Imagine spending all that money for 5 years. And
oh my goodness. Can you imagine?
It was just an environment where they couldn't imagine that anyone else would catch up or, I mean, they certainly didn't imagine that there'd be probably some brand consideration in this as well. Right. Yeah. Maybe they just don't want Tesla logos all up and down their beautiful rest stop.
Speaking of brand considerations.
Whoa, good one.
So Meta's leaning hard into artificial intelligence, as I think most people are, announcing plans to let brands generate entire ad campaigns with AI by the end of the year. While the potential for automation is high, many advertisers are questioning the transparency and reliability of Meta's growing ad tech empire. Meta will allow brands to create full ad campaigns from a single product image. Their goal is to create ads in real time based on user location and environment. For instance, a sneaker on a city street for urban users versus a hiking trail for rural ones. The dynamic rendering aims to increase relevance and engagement, particularly for smaller advertisers with limited creative budgets. Advertising made up 97% of Meta's revenue in 2024, with much of it being reinvested back into AI. Ad executives remain skeptical, including yours truly, with one saying no clients will trust what they spit out.
So, and probably also worth mentioning, like the big public ad agencies like WPP and Ogilvy, like they all took a big dip yesterday when this got announced, right? Because a big part of their business is creating these ads for clients.
Creating ads.
I have seen some, not Meta's tech, but have you seen the Google tech that does this? Creates the product ads.
Yep.
You upload one picture or maybe two pictures if you want, and it generates a lot of images. A lot of the stuff that I saw was clothing. So, you know, different situations.
Yeah, smaller products. Definitely.
Smaller stuff's better. I think this is actually going to be a big win for them. I think that a lot of
here's where it's going to be a big win, Paul. This is my opinion, right? And when PMax came out from Google, they basically were penalizing people that weren't using it by charging higher cost per clicks and decreasing search impression share.
That's kind of rough.
You could see it. And so I mean, if I was a for-profit business like Meta trying to drive increased adoption of my tools, I would increase the ad stickiness of anything that was using my AI tools because I put millions and millions of dollars into that thing.
You want it to be a benefit.
So I want it to be a benefit. Yep.
I mean, is the tool going to be free though? The tool's free. It's just the ad cost.
Yeah, but it keeps you in the same system, right? So prioritizing that because then
it's also going to automate campaigns. Like automated campaigns are going to be a thing. Yep. I think that maybe I don't have the data to back this up, but you know, the same principle that Jim McKelvey wrote about in the innovation stack when he created Square, the little card readers, their assumption was that there were a lot more people on the fringes of accepting credit card processing that didn't because it was too complicated.
So are there people that
I think there's another circle, another larger base of small businesses who just, it's hard for them to, it's just too hard. So they're like, we need to make it easy for them to run ads, and people are less likely to run ads if it's hard for them to make
That's
creative
fair.
or have a
That's
campaign.
fair.
So I think they're going to tap into an untapped ad spend where people really aren't spending it, or maybe they're spending it like with the local penny saver or something like that. But now they can run campaigns. And I think the savvy people figure out how to use it. It'll be interesting to see how this comes into automotive, but I think it's gonna be pretty flexible. And what we're going to get into in the end is it's going to be the creative and thoughtful idea behind the campaign that is actually the secret to it actually doing well, because everyone's going to have good looking ad. There's going to be parity. Everything's going to look the same.
Be the creativity, the human element, the thing that you create out of thin air because your brain is wired for it.
AI platforms don't solve problems. People solve problems.
Come on now.
People come up with creative
Let's
ideas.
go.
So if you take care of the people, they will take care of you. We hope you take care of one another. We will see you here first thing tomorrow. Have a great day.
Keep going.